Hi, and welcome to Psychic Sushi. I'm Reverend Elizabeth Howell, and today we have our special guest, Merida Raines. And Merida does some wonderful work. She is a massotherapist, as well as, I put down spiritual healing, some earth traditions as well, but you work with people's energy fields, and a lot of people are going, what is that? What are energy fields? And you are going to be able to do a demonstration today for us. Yes. About what energy is and how one can actually really figure it out or devise a way to see energy, or not actually see it, but to, there are some tools in order to experiment or experience energy. And you've also you've been studying for years and years in doing a lot of different techniques. I know that you do tuning forks, and you do not only massage, but you do, you don't do Reiki. You do Reiki. You do another energy work though, yes?
I do theta healing and I do quantum touch. There's energy work is energy work. I do meridian acupressure therapy as well as meridian massage therapy.
Wow.
So that's opening up the meridians of the body.
So we'll have to talk a little bit about that, because I believe someone would say, what is a meridian of the body and why would I need it open? Maybe it needs to be closed. So those are some good things to start on. So why don't you first tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in your practice, and then you can explain about the energy work, because we feel, at least I feel, that's very important, mind, body, spirit. You know, if you are going through and experiencing some things, it's important to heal all of three. So, and you work on spirit and body, and maybe the mind too. We'll see. But how did you get started?
Okay, well, when I was quite young, probably preteen, so must have been around 7, 8, 9 years old, I had anxiety attacks. And I didn't know what to do about them. If you can't see it, you know, especially years ago, if you couldn't see it, then there was nothing wrong with you. So, but I had anxiety attacks from a very young child, and it stemmed from some of the problems that were in my family, and that it just affected me. So I began to think about how I could work with that anxiety. Of course, at the time, I didn't know that it was anxiety attacks. I was too little to understand what was happening to me. So I couldn't breathe, and the room would spin, and I thought, this is terrible. I would go hide. So here's one child out of 7 children hiding, okay, whenever people would come over, because that was usually when I would have a problem. And so I thought, I can't live like this. So I began to find different ways to work with it. Well, I finally figured out that if I would go into a place where I was by myself and just like lie down or just get very relaxed and start to breathe and visualize, that I could probably get through it. So that's what I did. As a very young child, I would lay down and I would just breathe, and I would visualize being in a beautiful place, and I would focus on my breathing. And it brought me out of it. And as soon as I did that and knew that I could keep on doing that, and then it would go away, I never had any again. I never had any anxiety again. So through the years, then anything that would happen, and it always seemed like I was very sick. I was very sensitive to foods, and I was always getting colds and flu. Anything that would come down the pike, I would get it. So I had to figure out how to get rid of it. And at first I tried, you know, the over-the-counter drugs, and I soon realized that they would make me sicker. They would give you side effects, and then you'd have to work with the side effects. So it was in my 20s, the early 20s, like I just turned 21, that somebody gave me a book, and it was all about natural healing. And I began to study from there, and I just was kind of led to different books, you know, almost like a spiritual kind of pathway was opened up. And from there, everything just blossomed. And then in 1996, I just decided, after being a secretary for like 30 years, that I didn't want to do that anymore, and I went to school for massage therapy, and then I continued my studies with naturopathy.
Okay.
And herbs and that kind of thing.
So naturopathy is the study of
natural
ways to heal.
Yes.
Now, when you say you do therapeutic touch, We've had people talk about therapeutic touch, but perhaps maybe you can explain like what is therapeutic touch as compared to just plain old massage.
Okay, so a therapeutic touch is basically moving energy in your own body, okay, or just having energy move through you. I have energy move through me, okay, or a lot of people will say it moves through you. Actually, I just like to take energy and direct it, okay, without it moving through me, because I don't want to have to think about all that stuff going through me. All right, and it kind of, when you say that energy moves through you, you have to be very clear in order to move energy.
Okay.
And if your vessel isn't clear, okay, then you can pass some stuff on to other people. And I don't like to think about doing that. That's what I love about some of the different types of healing. Theta healing is one of the ones where you just kind of call in healing and then just watch it happen, because all we're asked to do is witness.
Now,
All
we
right?
had a demonstration of Reiki. And we had a couple of Reiki masters come on and talk about that. So therapeutic touch is not though like Reiki. It is. Aren't you like holding points on somebody as you're doing therapeutic touch?
Therapeutic touch is another modality that people learn about. Okay, and yes, those that do therapeutic touch do touch certain areas on the body. Okay.
Whereas with Reiki, you just lay your hands and that symbols and energy.
And there's a symbol. People who do Reiki use symbols.
Right.
So they'll just focus on the symbol, and it's the symbol that moves the energy.
Right.
Okay. With the Theta healing.
Back to Theta.
Back to
Theta is
Theta.
not therapeutic touch, but Theta is a different modality. And that is, as you explained, now how does that work? You said you just visualize the healing, you said, or
no? What happens with Theta is you actually move into a place of Theta, which is about 10 feet above your head. Okay, so you can kind of close your
Theta brain waves.
Brain waves.
Okay,
yes.
So actually, the human brain has 4 different brainwave patterns. There's alpha. Then there's beta, then there's alpha, which is deeper, and then there's theta, which is deeper than that, and then there is deltic. Yeah. And deltic is the deepest you can be. And that's when you're asleep and you dream. So alpha, and so you're saying one step down below that, so that's actually a sleep state or very low brainwave state, yes.
And the way that you get into theta is you have to close your eyes and you move through the dimensions, okay, until you're actually in theta, and there's a whole training that goes around it. And the very first time that I ever moved into theta, okay, we're working with people, and there's a woman that's opposite me, and the instructor's talking, and there must have been about, I don't know, 100 people in the room, so all of us had a partner. And so she says, now you're gonna call forth the person's DNA. Well, I called forth this person's DNA in front of me, and sure enough, right in front of me, it just appeared, and like it was in 4th dimension, like you're looking at a television or a computer screen, and there's her DNA, and it's swirling, and my eyes are open, okay? I'm seeing this in the 4th dimension. So it's swirling in front of me very slowly, and my mouth is like down like this. Okay, and so then you call in healing, and I could see different things in the DNA changing, okay? Rearranging themselves. And then it began to spin very, 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 very fast, and it moved back into the person. And then the instructor says, now it's going to spin very, very fast and go back into the person. And I had already seen that, so I was like, blown away.
Interesting. Now, who was this instructor? I mean, if I wanted to learn this, you obviously had to take a class, and it was a very entailed class, something that was more than just one day, correct?
Yes. Oh, yes.
So you went to, did you go to what instructor, or?
Her name was Vienna Steibel, and she wrote a book, and I can't think of the name of the book. Go Up and Heal with God, or something like that. And so she was very good, and I really enjoyed the class. All of us that were there just totally enjoyed the class. And it just opened up another way of working with healing.
Right. Well, I noticed with you, you have a lot of tools in your toolbox for energy work. You know, so it's kind of like she's an energy maintenance person or whatever you call it. She's got a lot of tools, so she kind of opens her toolbox and she can pull out the right tool for the right situation when she's working on a client. Obviously, it looked like there's lots of fun stuff that you do.
So much to do. There's iridology, which is looking into the iris of the eye to see where a person has a problem. Okay, because the eyes are like the windows of the soul, or they're windows of the body actually, because you can see specifically what's going on by looking into the eye. And then there's reflexology, which works with the feet and the reflex areas of the feet that all relate to the organs of the body. That's phenomenal. I love to work with reflexology. It's really great stuff.
And there's also, I couldn't get away from it. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, but that's fascinating.
That's okay.
It's a fascinating tool, and I really have seen in so many people how important it is. And your eyes really are the window to your body, to your health. They do show that where there could be a problem, and where there may need to be worked on. Now, reflexology, that's awesome, and that's with the feet. And I, because the way it was explain why that works, because you said all the nerve endings are in the feet that go through the spine, right? That go through
they're actually what they call reflex areas of the foot. So, like a certain part of the foot will correspond to the liver or the heart or the lungs. Okay, so you can feel over the years I've had, just been able to work with a person's foot and say, okay, what is that? And they'll say, oh my gosh, I feel that here. Or, oh my gosh, I've had such pain here and nobody could ever figure out what that was. And so there's so much to reflexology that's really cool. And when you keep on working those reflex areas, people feel better.
Can you do a diagnosis on someone through their feet?
No, you never.
I mean, I know
you do
use the D word because that goes not medical. It's we don't, not a medical, not a doctor. We don't diagnose.
We don't diagnose, right?
But rather, you could at least see where maybe there's a weakness or a problem.
Yeah, you can do an assessment.
Could you do one right now?
No. We'll have to do a whole thing on reflexology. I mean, you can.
That would be fine.
Okay, I've done whole classes on reflexology.
Well, we'll have her come back then.
But yeah, there's other things that we want to talk about today. Journey work is another one.
Right.
Okay, journey work is something that is phenomenal. I don't know if you've ever read the book Outsmart Your Cancer.
No, but I did.
There was fabulous. There's a doctor in the 1980s, mid-1980s, who would take pictures of a person's brain and pinpoint exactly where the person was having there would be an emotional spark, he said, to every single illness that a person had. There was an emotion behind it. And what journey work does is it takes you into that emotion and helps you to disperse it. It's really, really great work. I love it.
Now, the journey work you do is also what we might say more shamanic, or?
It can relate to shamanism, yes.
Okay.
That's a lot of what a shamanic work is about. And I've studied for almost 30 years now with a Cherokee medicine woman.
Right.
And she has taken us into many, many different places. And so we'd have to talk one day about what medicine means and what that's all about.
Right.
So
we've had on our show, we've had a medicine person, so we've explained that. But today, though, your forte is energy work. And so someone would probably want to know, why would I want energy work done? Now, let's say this way. I go to my doctor and I take a pill. And let's say I'm on depression. I'm very depressed. And I get a pill and it doesn't really help, and now I feel nothing. But I'm still not feeling good. Okay, now I'm not an example, because that's not against doctors and good work that they do, but let's say, would energy work maybe help?
There's many, many, many different reasons why a person becomes ill. And I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Horse Boy.
No.
Which was phenomenal. The child had, it's a true story. The child had, he was autistic. And whenever he would be on a horse would be the only time that he would be normal. So his father, just being a phenomenal, person with all kinds of open, she's just an open box to pull things out of. He and his wife took the child to Mongolia, the original horse people, and there were shamans. The shamans of Mongolia heard about him coming, and they all came to where he was because they wanted to work with him and heal him. And they at the end of the movie, towards the end of the movie, the boy went home perfectly normal because the shaman worked with many different things with the child. And one of them was they found that he had an ancestor that had emotional and mental problems, and she was influencing him. And so they cleared him of her energy. And that was one of the things that they worked with and did with the shaman techniques that they used on him. But the child was just phenomenal. It was a very good movie. So there's many different reasons why people, some seen and some unseen, okay, and some known and some unknown, because things can affect you through the ethers, so to speak. So you have to kind of look at where a person is. Many years ago, a friend of mine contacted me, and she said, this woman can't sell her house, and she doesn't know why. She says it's been on the market for like a year, and she hasn't been able to sell it. And she says it's a gorgeous house. She should be able to sell it. And I said, well, what's going on around her? And she said, well, she's going through a divorce. I said, does she love the house? And she said she loves the house. I said, that's the problem. So I said, well, move into spirit and see what's around the house. So moved into spirit, and there's just an easy way of doing that. Okay, and what I saw was the house was totally gray and sticky. It was like there was glue around it. And that was this woman's attachment to her home. So what we had her do, the woman do, was go into each of the rooms and release the house. Okay, so she took like a smoke offering with her, and I told her to take sage and cedar and put it together, and I said just do a smoke offering in each of the rooms and release it. And she did that, and she sold the house in 3 days. So there's different ways that we stop our own progress in life, and in different things that happen to us that attach themselves to us, okay, that might depress us. And sometimes some of them might be viruses, which is an entity, okay, sort of entity attachment type thing. So it's getting things off of people, and when they lift, it also lifts, or it might be a thought, a certain way that you're thinking. So you have to work with many different ways, and it is a holistic type of thing. It could be your diet that's causing you to not feel so good. So you'd have to change certain things, because you would never know how a certain food affects you.
Right.
It might be causing an allergic reaction, and you wouldn't know that allergic reaction is not making you feel well. So you're depressed because you're sick all the time. So there's many different reasons for why people feel the way they do.
Okay, so when you say, I use the term, so it probably might have confused somebody. When you say you moved into spirit, what did you do when you say you moved into spirit? Because I'm sure the audience went, huh? What was that? She did what? So let's catch that and maybe explain. I know what you mean by that.
Yes,
but
I know you do.
For maybe the average studio audience person, they kind of maybe didn't understand that. So move into spirit means?
It's like a different place that you can go. Okay, because as a human, God-man, okay, you create your reality. But there's more than one dimension. And most people feel like we're in a fishbowl, okay, that this is all that they can see, so that's all that there is. So you have to think like Michio Kaku in one of his books, I can't remember the name of it, but he's a physicist, and he said that being in this third dimension is like a fish being in a fishbowl, because all they know is that they're swimming in water, and that's the only thing that they know until somebody or something comes along that puts their hand in the fishbowl, and then it's like, well, that's an alien thing. All right, where did that come from? So you have to kind of think outside of the fishbowl that we're in, and you just learn through various things how to do that, and it's not difficult. It's just opening your mind to it.
Okay, but you basically say you moved into like a spiritual dimension, like through projecting your own spirit.
Projecting your consciousness.
Your consciousness, okay. and then you were in the spirit realm more or less and able to see then clearly or do a remote viewing on the woman,
Yes.
like the woman's house.
Yes.
Okay. And so maybe you do that too when you work on someone. You're really working on them. You move into the spirit realm or in that realm or the psychic realm or so, and then you look at what's going on with them, perhaps too. Yes.
Yes. And there's actually a name for that. There's a lot of people, especially in California, they're doing a lot of that now. And they can actually see into the person's body. Okay. And the doctors are just beginning to open up to this because it doesn't take any kind of, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment to do it. It's a person that can actually just move in. It's called medical
intuitive.
Intuitive. It's a medical intuitive.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So medical intuitives just basically can move into a person's physical being and see where they're having blockages or
Right.
cancers, or and they're healing just by even they'll call the doctor and say, okay, she's got this going on here. I actually found somebody's IUD that was lost in their body by telling them where it was. Okay, it's right here. This is where they want to focus their attention. So and that's exactly where it was. So yeah, you can do it.
So
and people are doing it all the time.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll integrate into the regular medical community the spiritual work. We were hoping at some point that of course, takes time, and of course it's something that not everyone believes in. But if one is suffering a dis-ease, it's very important to throw the kitchen sink at it. Working with your regular doctor. Not to tell you don't go to the doctor. I mean, go to the doctor because God works through everyone, including doctors. But also the spiritual work, the mind and the spiritual bodies needing to be addressed, and then energy work, which is what you do. Just my personal journey. As I said, I outwitted cancer, but I threw the kitchen sink at it. I did. I've said this list before to everyone, but I did holistic nutritional. I did vitamin therapy, amino acid therapy. I did a product called Can't Cell, which is an iodine-based thing. I did Rife treatments, which was light sound treatments, and I had tuning fork treatments done on me. I had shamanic. I actually had some voodoo done on me, and people go like, "What? Yes, I went to a voodoo shaman, and you know what? I'm all for it, because I was at the point where I said, I've got to do something.
Yes.
I have to move this energy because I refuse to believe I have cancer. And I did not even give in once. So to me, it was everything, everything. I think my family really, it was, what are you doing today? Oh yeah, you're going there. What are you doing tomorrow? Oh yeah, you're going over there. I was all over, calling in all my peeps.
That's right.
It's like I was doing it all.
That's right.
Whenever I had a chance, and I had Reiki done during and before after surgery. In fact, what happened, and I will share this story, but it was really interesting. They did the surgery on me, and that I had to go back in and have more surgery, but I healed so quickly after the first surgery. The doctor goes, "Oh my gosh," he said, "like you've healed that quickly," and he says, so I had Reiki done again. They actually going 3 times. The third time, it was like, he goes, "What are you doing? You're healing so quickly." Because the scar, the tissue, healed back up because Reiki accelerates healing process.
When I worked at university hospitals, people were calling me from all over the hospital because I had started doing a lot of teaching at the hospital on my lunch hours. And so this one woman called me and she said, "I'm having surgery for cancer, breast cancer." She said, "And I just would love to have you come up and do a healing for me." So after her surgery was ended, I went up and I took a small crystal, and I started to just work the crystal with her, and all of a sudden there was this burst, this energy burst, and we both jumped, and she goes, "Oh my God, what was that?" And I said, "That was an energy cyst, and it's the first time I had ever felt one." And so she said, I immediately felt totally relaxed from that. She said, I just feel total relaxation. And so I just continued working with her because it was just a phenomenal experience with that little crystal. And she actually went home. She was supposed to have gone home in 5 days. She actually went home in 2 days.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, you brought some little bits and some things to demonstrate with. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about energy work. We're going to talk about energy work, and we're going to demonstrate energy work. And so we're going to have someone from the studio audience come up, and you're going to show kind of what energy is, maybe, because a lot of people are like, hey, what's energy? What are you talking about? That sounds like, something you can't prove. But there are some simple ways to prove about energies and energy shifting sometimes. And I kind of know what you're going to do, so I'm trying to describe it as best I can. But so you maybe can describe what you're going to do.
Okay, well, I've been doing this ever since my daughter was 6 and she's 36. So for 30 years I've been doing this because it's really how long ago I've seen it, okay? Mm-hmm. And people always want proof.
Yeah.
Okay, so I always have people do this on other people, okay? Because I want them to not only see it, but I want them to feel it, okay? Because you can see it and you can feel it. So there is there are chakras. Do you know what? Most people have heard of chakras. Some people haven't. But chakras are wheels, and when you're younger, okay, when you're a young child, a baby or a toddler, you've got chakras that are out to here because you have so much energy. You ever wonder how a child has so much energy? And then as you get older, the energy seems to fade a little bit. And that's because the chakras pull into the body, okay? And they start to spin more slowly. So you have slower spinning chakras, and they're not standing out from the body as far. And the chakras are wheels. They're wheels of energy. I've actually seen those wheels of energy. They're phenomenal. But they spin, and they spin very, very fast. And you can actually, I had a crystal one time, and I was holding onto the crystal, and the crystal was spinning as fast as my chakras are spinning. And I could see the chakras coming off my body. And it was really, the crystals are really phenomenal tools to work with. And to work with something that teaches you, I think, is just a phenomenon that everybody should know about, because when you have a tool that can teach you, is like a rock, okay, or a crystal, they're I don't know, they're just intelligence. It's an intelligence, okay? And when you work with that intelligence, you just begin to learn from that intelligence. So really very interesting work. So what I have is a plain old hanger. It's a brass hanger, okay? And I cut it here, and I cut it here. So if I can have someone come up from maybe the audience.
Okay, let's see who would like to come up. There we go. That
Come
person
on
over
up.
there. Of all the people, we have this huge studio audience. We're come on up. And your first name?
Cody.
Cody. Cody,
Hi,
thank
Cody.
you for coming
Hi.
up.
How do you feel today? Any headaches?
Actually, yeah.
You have a headache?
Yeah.
Okay. Cold, flu, anything like that? You're feeling pretty good, you just have a headache?
Yeah, just a headache.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stand you up here, okay?
Do you want to stand up now?
Yeah, go ahead, stand up, and I'm going to stand up with you, okay? And then I'm just going to show people what a headache looks like, right? So I want you to kind of turn sideways.
This way?
Yeah, because I'm going to hold this up, okay? And right about here is where the pineal gland, okay? The energy of the pineal gland is here, all right? So when this gland is closed, okay, the energy just kind of pulls into the body, okay? Now, had I not asked her, this is the pituitary. You see how that's moving inward? Okay, there's no energy there. There's no flow of energy. And that's where the pituitary is.
Interesting.
Okay? So I would have known right away that she has a headache because she doesn't have any energy flowing through there. All right? So what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes. Close your eyes right now. Just close your eyes. All right. And I just want you to take a real deep breath. I want you to breathe all the way down into the lower abdomen. Just take a real deep breath. A real deep breath. Real deep breath. Okay. Let it out. And I'm going to count in to the count of 7. Just a deep breath. Hopefully this will work. If it doesn't, I have another means that we could get rid of this headache for you. Sometimes we hold all of our energy in our heads because we're thinking too much. And that's pretty much all that we're doing is just thinking too much. And it causes us to shut off the inflow of intuitive motion, okay? So there's an intuition that we turn off when we think too much, all right? So when that happens, we shut off the flow of energy and we don't breathe as deeply as we should. And that breath, when you breathe, you can breathe all the way down into your lower abdomen to where your stomach expands, okay? And then you let it out. And a deep breath is the best thing you can do when you have a headache. See how that's creating a flow of energy?
Did your headache go away?
So sometimes all you need to do is deep breathe. But now she's opened up her intuitive centers and see the difference? Now she's pushing out. She's pushing that out because the chakras are moving. Watch, I'll show you. See? Okay? So when we close off the flow of energy to the various parts of the body and the various organs, the chakras begin to slow down, okay? And they don't move as quickly. Now, you have what a lot of people have, thyroid problems, thyroid issues.
I wonder why that is.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Let me sit down and talk about it. We'll check your thyroid.
I just want to check the thyroid, okay? And, okay, so you don't have any problems speaking what's in your heart. No, and you can tell because look at how her thyroid is just moving. The chakra is open, all right? And there's a lot of energy moving. So this is your speech. This is what's in your heart. So when you can speak kindness, when you can speak generosity, when you can speak positive, your heart is open, and it's reflected in how you hold energy in your throat, because that's how you speak. Okay, so there's everything's open and moving. You have people who are very hurt, and these are the people that hold energy in their heart, and these are the people with heart attacks and strokes. Okay, so when they're holding on to all the hurt and pain that people have, that they've experienced in life, the energy gets closed off. Things tighten up, and there's no movement. There's no flow of energy here, and the chakra literally just shuts down. Okay, so she has good flow of energy here. That's not one of her problems. Okay, and here's heart chakra. All right, and that's open. So she's got wonderful heart energy. Okay, and then here is, you're not very stressed. You don't hold on to stresses. You don't hold on to anger. You can, but you don't. You're not holding anything now, right? We all have the capacity to hold on to it, but she doesn't. Okay, she doesn't. She just lets it go, and there's a flow. So naturally, she's a healthy person. Okay. So, and then there's creativity. So there's creativity in the movement, the flow of energy. You can always see it, and that's why I like this little thing here. My daughter used to drag kids home and say, "Do that to them, Mom. Do that to them. Show them their energy." And I would do that to the kids, and they used to love it. So I just think that doing this, and I've been in high school situations where I've had people. This is a really good thing. Close your eyes, okay? Okay. Now headache's gone. All right. So your energy is flowing here. I always show people this what your thoughts do, okay, to your body, all right? I want you to think the deepest, darkest thought you can think. See how it cuts off the flow of energy? Do you see how it does that? Now, open up that thought and just think a real positive, beautiful thought. Real positive, real beautiful. Be in a great place, be in a beautiful place. Look at how that energy moves. Okay? So when we think really deep, dark thoughts, we can sit down, or you can sit down. When you think really deep, dark thoughts, who does it hurt? It hurts you. Okay? It hurts you. And doing this I did this with middle school kids, and they were just like blown away. They loved the demonstration. They loved it. So, and because they could see that it had an effect on them personally, it didn't have an effect on somebody else, it affected them and their own flow of energy. So this is what I help people with, is turning around that flow of energy and getting that to open up.
I know one particular studio audience member who does need to come up, and she can please, Lisa. So I'm not going to say anything, but if you could, just do an assessment if you can on her. Again, we're not diagnosing illness or anything like that, but she's been suffering, and I can say she's been having a sore throat issue. So maybe this can show us a little bit more, if you can get that.
Okay, you want to stand up? I can show you another way to do this too without this, okay? If you want to just stand there, close your eyes. I want you to say your name.
Lisa.
I want you to just let your body move. Close your eyes. Say your name.
Lisa.
See how she came forward? Okay, so her energy is on, all right? And the way that you test yourself is to first say your name, because you should always move forward when you say your name, all right? So this is another example of what I used to do for people, and then I said I can't do this for people anymore. I'm going to teach them how to do it themselves. So I just have people stand, and I just tell them to say their name. I tell them to trust, because people don't know why they're standing there, all right? So I tell them to just trust what they get and just let their body move, go in any direction that they want it to. So usually they'll go forward. Sometimes they go backward, then we have to address that, why they did that. But generally, when a person goes forward, then we can continue on. So close your eyes, get very relaxed, take a deep breath, and say your name again.
Lisa.
And she moved forward. Did you catch it? All right. Sometimes it's just like that. It's that quick. So you have to really watch. Now, I usually have someone who is like on the other end of a phone, okay, on the phone line. I'll say, have somebody spot you, because you can't always feel which direction you're moving. Now, I want you to say pituitary.
Pituitary.
And see how she moved forward? Okay.
Interesting.
Now I want you to say pineal gland.
Pineal gland.
See how she came forward again? All right. Say thyroid.
Thyroid.
She's coming forward. All right. Say thymus.
Thymus.
Nope, going backward. Did you feel it? Okay. So her immune system is taking a hit somehow. All right. Your immune system's low. How long have you had this? How long have you had a sore throat?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay, so we definitely know that her immune system's taking a hit. Okay? Now, close your eyes again. And I want you to say left adrenal.
Left adrenal.
Whoa. She went backwards. That's a very weak, okay? Now say right adrenal.
Right adrenal.
and backwards again. She's trying to control it because she's new at this.
Right.
All right. When you get to really doing this, sometimes you just fall over backwards or fall over forwards because your body, you're going into an intuitive place. So you're testing your own organs, okay, to see what is weak. All right. So you know that your adrenals are weakened. All right. Now say left kidney.
Left kidney.
Okay, she went backwards very slightly. Did you see it? It's real fast. All right, say right kidney.
Right kidney.
She's going backwards again. Okay, so you've got a kidney and you've got an adrenal weakness. So you want to address that. All right, and once you address that, there's a fear going on in here. All right, so you write novels. All right, I would venture to say you have to really ground yourself after you come out of the writing of these, okay? Because it's affecting your kidneys and your adrenals. All right, kidney is the place of fear. All right, so you live in a place of fear if you write horror novels. You have to really kind of pull yourself out of that and ground yourself. All right, so there's a lot of different things going on with you. There's a lot of different things going on with you.
Interesting.
Thank you.
That's fun. So similar to maybe a muscle testing, which we've done on the show. We've done muscle testing, but that's definitely a different way I've seen any kind of, and that was, you know, maybe from what angle I was sitting, I couldn't quite catch, but I know that the studio audience on this side, all those people over here, caught it, and got to see what was going on. That was very fascinating. So now this is also, though, you know, a dowsing rod, more or less,
Yes.
because I use a set of 2, and mine, I put like I bought mine. You can make them.
Yes.
But I usually use a dowsing rod when I'm doing ghost investigations and we're looking for energy patterns underneath the home. So that's interesting that you saw it. Now, my question is, does it matter which hand you're holding it in when
No.
you're holding it next to somebody?
Whatever's comfortable.
Whatever is comfortable. And you, like, just anybody can do it. I mean, if
Yes.
you know, if I wanted to test my kids, I could do that.
Yes.
Okay.
All you have to do is find the place of the chakra, okay? And so once you've got those places, then they're always the same place. And I was teaching this at this is part of a teaching when I was doing the Fountain of Youth exercises. I was showing people their energy and how the Fountain of Youth exercises work with the body and kind of rejuvenate the chakras. So I had a girl come up, and you know, people, they don't really know what to think until they've done it, all right? So a girl came up and I gave her the dowsing rod and I said, okay, you test this person. So the moment that it moved, when she got the right spot, it kind of just flew outward because the woman's energy that she was testing was really good. And she just dropped it and she stepped back and she was like, oh my God, that was so weird. I never would have believed it if I hadn't done it. And I said, well, that's why I have you do it, because you have to feel it.
Yeah.
You know, once you feel it, you may not be able to see those chakras, but once you feel them, then you know that they're there.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Now I've done it where I've laid people out on my table and I've held the
another way.
pendulum over the chakra, and we could see, in fact, I think we did that with the Reiki demonstration as well. We could see the pendulum start to move or not move or move a lot where the chakra was to determine if it was open or closed or something. So, but that's fascinating that you can have someone stand and you can
cheap.
work with them.
And cheap. You don't
Yeah.
have to buy anything. You just take a hanger and just cut it.
Now you also brought a couple other things.
Yes.
A couple other tools. There's a couple of
there's
mysterious
tuning
bags.
forks, and you said you've had somebody on here that have done tuning forks?
Yes, tuning forks we had.
Okay. One of the nicest ways to relax, I mean, if you can't get a person to relax, you want to do a tuning fork session, because you can actually go so deeply into a relaxation that it'll stay with you for days. It'll just stay with you for days, okay? And they're
absolutely.
phenomenal because they do tune your body. And it's a real nice form of balancing your energy. And so tuning forks I highly recommend. And these are the solfeggio tuning
Right.
forks.
Seems like those are the only kind.
No, there
Really?
are others. Yeah,
That
there are
seems like
others.
there's everybody. Just make sure you don't freak out the the guys in the control booth.
Can they hear that?
I think it was okay, but yes, that's
And this is what a crystal sounds like, literally. Crystals let off, they emit
Oh.
tones. You'd have to get real close to it. Can you hear it? That's what a crystal sounds like.
Is that why my ears are always ringing?
Uh-huh. Probably. So tuning forks are phenomenal.
Goodness, yeah.
For healing the emotions, I also use tree essences.
Okay.
Tree
Now,
essences
we've had,
are phenomenal.
People talk about aromatherapy, but tree essence, what's the difference between like a tree essence and a flower essence as compared to aromatherapy or something
Yeah.
like that? What's a tree essence?
A tree essence, the trees are longer lasting, they are very potent, okay? And flower essences are beautiful, but the tree essences last and last and last. And you can take like 3 bottles of a tree essence and it will completely change how you think about a problem that you're having. It could be a relationship problem, it could be an emotional problem that maybe you've lost someone, okay, a trauma to the psyche somehow.
Vibration.
They're phenomenal. I just learned about them last year and I've used them many different times.
And this is a combination of a bunch of different trees, though, too. It's not just like a tree, or pine,
No,
or
it's a combination.
Yeah, this one in particular has like a tree peony, a tulip tree, and that is, so that's good. And
Yeah, they're phenomenal. And they really do make a change in your personality
especially
over a
if you're going
period of
through,
time.
yeah, and let's say like someone's gone through a car accident, or let's say that I'm working on being a better person, and I want to stop being so angry all the time at my spouse.
Yes. They work with
or-
fears, and they work with hurts, and they work with, the general things that emotionally block us.
Okay, right. Well, we have some people have any questions from the studio audience. If you have a question, you can come up and you can sit down next to us
Merida.
and ask the question. So, okay, well, come up and ask the question, Lisa, and sit down and join us.
Hi, Lisa.
Would you like a cup of coffee? No, I'm just kidding.
I've been diagnosed with several different things over the years, but the worst by most is recently I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and I've been begging Elizabeth to do hypnotherapy on me, but I want to see, is there something that I can do to kind of work with that and to try to help maybe start releasing some of the energy that creates?
Yes, definitely. I had lupus at one time. I had an autoimmune disease. My sister had lupus. She had it diagnosed. Mine wasn't. But I absolutely refused to live that way because there's too much pain involved with that. So what I had to do was I got off all sugar and dairy. Sugar and dairy. Sugar it burns too hot for the body. So what happens if you eat too much of it is it stores itself in your muscles, okay, and it begins to burn real hot, and that might be what you're feeling in the way of pain. So you want to get off sugar. And do you know that there's nothing in the human body that craves sugar? What you're actually craving are good fats and oils. So just take a teaspoon to a tablespoon of coconut oil daily, and you won't even think about sugar.
Coconut oil. Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, it is good.
Is that why I crave Mounds bar or something?
Possibly,
coconut?
but that's got sugar in it.
Yes, it does, and I
So,
don't want that.
Yes,
That's bad.
Where'd
yes.
you get coconut? Can you just get it in
You
the
can
store?
get it in the store. Yeah, it comes in little containers, and it's white, and it smells like coconut, and it's not bad tasting at all. It's very pleasant. It almost tastes like just like water. There's no taste or flavor to it, but there's the smell.
Ooh.
And so it's very easy to take, and you can put it in cereal, like hot cereal, and or you can cook your eggs in it or do whatever you want. But when you do coconut oil, you no longer have sugar cravings, because what your body is actually craving are good fats and good oils.
Huh.
I'll try that.
I will too.
And what else
So that's one of the things you can do for yourself to get off sugar and white flour products. Go just eat very healthy. Don't drink any pop. Get off pop. And I would do a vegetable and fruit diet as much as you can. And if you know your blood type, you can get the book Eat Right for Your Blood Type,
Yeah.
and you can read that. It's a phenomenal book, and you can go with that. And I would stay with that. I would definitely
think about
just
the lean proteins.
and the lean proteins. Yes, if you're a type A, you wouldn't do proteins. If you're a blood type A, you would do more vegetarian type diet.
Now say I'm O.
You're
Do I
O,
have
so
to-
you can.
Does it matter if I'm O positive or
No.
O negative?
No, just type O. So the blood type it's a really good. And if you've ever done any experimentation with that, you would know that my girlfriend and I did this. She was a type A and I was a type O, and she ate my diet and I ate her diet first thing in the morning, and we were both dragging by like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And when I eat from my diet, I can go to 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon with that much energy. So I always try to do, for my blood type. I don't always stay with it, but then none of us do.
Yeah, it's
we
always
all slip
But
every
we-
once in a while.
Yes, and I think that was the first. Yes.
Yes, and then I would definitely do good fats and oils for like supplements too. Black currant oil is excellent for any kind of inflammation that's going on in the body.
Black currant oil?
Black currant oil.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a GLA, gamma-linolenic acid. So that helps with inflammation.
Now you were saying stuff about like holding anger and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that affect different parts of the body?
Yes, it does. Mm-hmm.
Because you had mentioned my gallbladder or something. They had found a tumor on my liver that's apparently between the liver and the gallbladder.
Okay.
That's been causing me issues for like 2 years.
All right. Who do you have an issue with, anger-wise? Don't tell me. Doesn't matter. Okay. So
Not
that's
on
just,
camera.
that's just, you want to forgive yourself, forgive the people around you. They were just doing the best that they could at the time that they were, at the time, whatever. And so you want to let go, because the liver is anger.
Okay.
All right. So work with that and work with that emotion and let it go. Let it go. Forgive in any way that you can. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's the best, because it's not hurting him; it's hurting you.
Right.
As we just saw, with the previous demonstration.
Yeah.
Any of those feelings that you have, they hurt you. They don't hurt somebody else. Okay. So you have to let go. And once you let go and you start doing the proper things for your body begins to heal itself. Because if you came in with a pattern of health, you can always hold a pattern of health.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So this isn't, in other words, if you were born with unhealthy, then you came in with a karmic condition, is what they like to say. Okay? So whether that's true or whether it isn't, or whether people believe it or not, that's generally the way it is. I've worked with babies and healed conditions that they've had by going back into previous lifetimes. So there's always something, and you don't want to hold on to it because you don't want to take it with you.
True.
All right. Well, thank you for asking your question. Do we have anybody else who might have a question? Maybe, sort of. Wow, with all these people out here, no one has a question. And, okay, well, I have a couple questions, I mean, we'll kind of, reiterate. So the reason someone would want to come to an energy worker is because they may be suffering something and feeling, hey, maybe I can do more. And you know what you do does not interfere with a doctor's orders. You know, it doesn't conflict with anything you know your doctor may want you to do or anything like that. So you know, you're just working on the energy field, okay, and you're helping with the energy, so to speak, and energy would be the human energy, the human body's energy, the spiritual energies. You work on that. And so you have a practice in Medina.
Yes.
And you work with people, and someone can get hold of you. What is your website? Because I love the name of our website. It's a really cool website.
The name of my website is Wind in Her Hair. And people ask me why wind in her hair. And it's because when I think of wind, I think of something that you can not see, but it's there, okay, just like spirit. Okay, and spirit is always around us, and we, according to the medicine wheel, we are, you know, there's 4 directions on the spirit on the medicine wheel, and if you're totally walking the path of the medicine wheel, then you're living all of life fully when you are living it holistically. Okay, so you're paying attention in body, mind, spirit, and emotion, okay, to everything that's going on in your life, and you're able to bring that to a balance.
So wind.
So you're walking in balance, and wind in her hair came out of that.
Okay.
So, and plus, when I was a child, I was in a tornado, a miniature tornado that was swirling around right next to me, and I was hanging on to it. And I remember that wind just blowing my hair everywhere.
Oh, so windinherhair.com. Okay. And so someone wants to learn more about you, they can go to your website. I know it has your background and your history, which we didn't touch on. But because, thank you for coming on today, and because you do so many things, I really want to have you come back, and we're going to do iridology and reflexology, because I really feel that those are two, they're separate. Okay, they can put them all together, but I think those are 2 very important things. So you can catch her at her website.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm so grateful, and you know, I know it was last minute when we organized, but if you would like to be in our studio audience and come on out and participate, you can go to my website, elizabethhowell.com. You can Facebook me. You can join the mailing list. You can email me, ask about wanting to be in the studio audience. We're going to be taping during the afternoons, so we definitely need our you know, it's pretty crowded today, but I mean, you can come out and get in here at any time. It's really good. So again, we want to thank you for tuning in to Psychic Sushi, and I'm Reverend Elizabeth Howell, and again, thanks and have a wonderful week.